this weekend we had, Our Brand is Crisis, which did miserably. The numbers on that are just ridiculously low.
And I want to talk about that. I really want to talk about that because that is it's a thing I want to bring up about Our Brand is Crisis, but also of The Walk as well. And The Walk is, I think, a far superior movie. But you have these two movies that are based on documentaries.
Right.
And my question is, do we really... First of all, I don't think there needed to be a narrative version of Our Brand is Crisis. There did not need to be one. There was nothing in the movie that suggested, hey, let's get another version of this out there. The documentary works fine enough. It's not a particularly, great documentary. So I'm watching it, and I find the great tragedy of the film is that David Gordon Green has all of his cohorts working with him: Richard Wright, Tim Orr, David Wingo doing the music. It just doesn't catch fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really, you're kind of flabbergasted.
No. Catching Fire comes out later this month. No, that's Mockingjay. Sorry.
No, it's Mockingjay. The Mockingjay Part 2 comes out. But you really are stunned. But you're also thinking, guys, we have documentaries of this subject matter that work fine enough. Do we really need to make it? I mean, yes, The Walk is. You had said a couple
I wonder about The Walk in particular because Man on Wire was an extremely popular movie. I mean, an Oscar winner, and it actually made money at the box office, and it's only grown in stature as the years have gone by and grown in the number of people who've watched it. And I do have to wonder about that particular movie. If people just resented the fact that they were being handed another version of this story that they've already seen, and the real one.
That's the better version. First of all, the first thing that you were watching the film, and the thing that takes a while to get used to is Joseph Gordon-Levitt's fake French accent. That was
another thing. I don't think that people really wanted to see him do that, or whatever.
Now, of course, second half of the film is very exciting, but let's be very honest, this is a Zemeckis film, and was the only reason he wanted to make this to show it in IMAX, essentially, that part of the movie.
Well, I don't think, if you were just making the movie to go after the documentary audience, your movie would still tank. I think most people that they were aiming for didn't even know about the documentary necessarily. I think it's a movie about a French tightrope walker.
Maybe they didn't also want to go see it. We were just talking about losers, and people don't want to go see movies about losers. And what's one of the greatest losses in our history? Those two towers coming down. And maybe just looking at those two towers just said, no, I'm not going to see this.
They didn't care. I mean, geez, the top 40 movies for this past week, The Walk isn't in the top 40 anymore.
Yeah, it fell off quite a bit.
Yeah, which is ironic for a tightrope walker.
Yes.
But I do think it's good that Zemeckis has gotten out of that animation phase he was in, although I do think in hindsight, Flight is a better movie.
I like Flight.
Yeah, I think Flight's a better movie. This is a problem. We're seeing these. Yeah, actually, I'm like I said, I'm glad to see them going back to, live movie making instead of the animated stuff. But I mean, I'm thinking, is there something better you could have done? Well, I do like parts of The Walk. On the whole, it's I think what we said a couple of years ago. If this was done so well as the documentary, did you need to go further? Was there really any? Do I get anything out of knowing the preparation more so than I did out of the documentary? The documentary does everything better in hindsight. I can't justify the narrative at all. And that goes with Our Brand is Crisis as
and
well.
It goes back to stars too. I mean, how much do stars matter anymore? With the Sandra Bullock thing, Our Brand is Crisis screamed out to be a small movie from the beginning,
exactly.
And so it's got
that
limited.
title, by the way, that title is kind of awful.
It's got limited. It's definitely got limited appeal, and just casting Sandra Bullock isn't going to change the limited appeal of its storyline.
Right. I agree.
But
with that.
she wanted to do that movie. And it was a role written for a male, and she says, "I want to do this." And George Clooney said, "Okay, great. Well, it'll be a female character now, and more power to her. I'm sure she's
No,
proud to have it on her resume. It doesn't need to make $150 million.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure she's not necessarily crestfallen by it. She did what she wanted to do.
Yeah, but nobody wants to make a movie that no one sees.
Right.
Well, that's the problem when you do.
They should. That's what I'm saying. They shouldn't have expected this movie to be blockbuster status just because they can't the book in it, because it's not built that way.
No, it's not. And I do want to. This is something I guess we can. We talk about these movies tanking. Some of them are just not good. Rock the Casbah. I don't know how you could have ever saved that movie.
Did you see that? How it failed? I mean, I know it did bad at the box office, but
it did bad at the box office. When your movie is listed with several other movies as some of the worst wide releases of all time, that's not good. I think what troubles me about this movie is that you have all these people in it, but most importantly, you have Bill Murray in it, and he can't save it.
Is it funny? It's not funny. Basically.
If the first half is funny, I think once you get to Afghanistan and once you really get into the story, it dies.
Is it funny the way Jimmy Hollywood is funny? Another Barry Levinson movie.
Oh God, that's right. He did that. Oh my God, I forgot all about that. Oh my God, it's kind of like a double. There is a double feature waiting at the New Beverly of Jimmy Hollywood and Rock the Casbah, I guess. And that would be amazing.
What was that movie? Was it Luck that he did with Jack Black, where they discover the they discover that spray. The spray.
Right.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh my God! I forgot all about that. Oh my
God.
God.
Who was that? What was that movie called? I forgot what it was called. But
the Jack Black spray movie. Oh my God! I had forgotten all about that for good reason. But oh my God!
But so Rock the Casbah though, it dies on the vine.
It's in the second week of release. It's averaged $176 a theater.
Wow.
God, you know what?
I'm surprised by the failure of that movie now, and I'll tell you why. Because I think Bill Murray fans love Bill Murray, and this did look like a very good role for him.
Oh, totally.
So,
I mean,
yeah. I'm kind of surprised by that.
I think the first half is actually rather, very funny, and then it just, I think as it goes on, I guess the word I want to use, you feel uninvolved.
I mean, I don't know.
Is it like Ishtar?
No, Ishtar is fucking brilliant. I mean, Ishtar is just, you engage in Ishtar. They don't really engage in it. Doesn't. There's something.
By the way,
something missing.
The Jack Black Barry Levinson movie is called Envy.
I
think people.
Right.
Oh my God, I remember.
I think people love Bill Murray. I don't think people love seeing every movie that Bill Murray's in just because Bill Murray's in it.
Can I give you? Remember the one with the elephant in the mid-90s?
Yeah, Broken Flowers, which is a good movie. What's the other movie? The Monuments Men that he did last year. No one went to go see that, and everybody was in that.
St. Vincent was really good. I mean.
Yeah, that was good.
With the failure of all these movies, is it? I mean, the common thing here is that they're not. None of them are like big blow 'em up movies. Movies that scream out to be on the big screen, with the exception of maybe The Walk and also Everest, which also didn't do very well.
That was better. That was better. That was a movie like I expected nothing being. It was the kind of movie I just thought, this is just going to be a snooze fest, and it was actually pretty good.
I liked it. I saw it just the other day, and I thought it was very good. Not great or anything,
but it was enjoyable. Though you were engaged. I guess engaged is the word. But let me ask you a question. Can you bring up a great point? You bring up an excellent point. Are we only now going to consider going to the movies to see things blow up?
Well, also, here's another thing, too, is that there was a little joke thing put out, I think, by The Onion, where they were going to have a new, they put out a thing that said they're going to have a new rating, and the rating is O. for all original material. Nothing based on a past movie or a comic book or anything, or a TV show or anything. This is all original. And it'll warn people who are just not ready for anything like that. You know, and I wonder if that's it too. If there, is there like just a mass aversion to anything that doesn't feel familiar already?
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I mean, if you notice, the release dates themselves over the last decade have become familiar in the sense we're going to release this type of movie here. We released it last year, so it seeps in there. I think, let's put it like this: one of the biggest movies of the year, Avengers. It's kind of a snooze fest when you think about it. I don't remember anything that happened in the movie. It's very disjointed. It's it's not. It's
not
like
on the tip of everybody's, tongue like Guardians of the Galaxy was last year.
I was watching that again the other night, just the end of it, and I think James Gunn, very much like Sam Raimi, understands, because he comes from that same kind of background. He knows what to put. He knows, hey, you know what? We have to tell a story. We have to be funny. We can't take ourselves so seriously. And I know the Avengers doesn't take themselves that seriously, but there comes a point where you watch the Avengers and you're just like, you know what? We need an editor in this movie. Where's the editor? Does he have the craft services? Could you get him back here? We need someone to make it make sense. Because that is actually a big problem with these movies as we're going on, is we're basically making a movie that is not even a 3-act movie. It's a act 2, if you will. We're just making a movie that's actually serving as a puzzle piece to the next movie, and we talked about this to the end. And I'm sorry, that's not a way to make a movie. That works better in television than in motion pictures. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. It's not cutting the mustard. And I think what I'm noticing though is you talked about TV, people staying home to watch TV. Some of the TV is very good. Some of the TV is god awful. And some of the TV that people are watching aren't the great shows. They're watching, for the lack of a better word, crap. Going back to that, and I have no problem admitting that people are watching. They're not all watching Nick. They're not all watching Fargo. They're not all watching Homeland.
Yeah, and they're also, to be fair, they're also staying home watching college football and professional football, and
I would too. I mean, especially to see the Redskins try to win. Yeah, I mean, I would too.
Also, there's a kind of thing going on. I wonder if those people who really love the tentpole movies, the summertime movies. There's part of me that sort of shuts down in summer because I'm not a big fan of those movies. So I kind of shut down, and kind of summer to me is not necessarily a time where I go out to the movies a whole lot.
Right.
And I wonder if it's reversed for those people. If once summer is over and the Oscar season starts, I wonder if they go, well, I'll just wait until go to the movies when summer comes around because I like those kind of movies. And these kind of movies I think are boring. So I'm not going to go to the movies.
I think that's a good point. Although I do think in summer you got something like the end of the tour in the spring. I mean, you get some of that, but you don't get a lot of it though. It's not.
Yeah.
It's problematic. I also need to tell you there's something else going on here. There's another reason. A lot of people are watching movies for free online.
That's true.
And I'm not trying to be talented or anything, but I talk to a lot of people younger than me, and they just prefer to go to torrents and stuff like that to download. And they don't. No one is interested. And I love where I work and everything. I love the people I work with, but one of them was just like, I went to go see Black Mass. I was disappointed. I'll watch everything else for free. So that's what.
Like as revenge.
There is that. There's also this thing of much younger than that. There's a younger audience that feels the idea of paying for anything is alien.
It's a huge problem.